Hi everyone, my name's Jeff Dean and I'm Meth Dad. I'm here to help you help your kids understand math. And today we're talking about fraction sense. Yep, fraction sense. What does that mean? Well, it's similar to what we would call number sense, but we're going to focus on fractions. See, one of the things when we talk about number sense that we want kids to be able to do is something called make a 10. For example, if I say 4, we want them to go 6 makes a 10. Or if I say 3, we want them to know 7 makes a 10. By having those things right at the tip of your tongue and knowing all of the ways to make a 10, it really helps with number sense. So what about fraction sense? Well, as we've been talking about, fractions all depend on the size of the whole. So part of fraction sense is understanding how one fraction relates to the whole. So if I say something like 3/4, we should say 1/4, because 3/4 and 1/4 make a whole. Or if I say something like 2/3, you should say 1/3, because 2/3 and 1/3 make a whole. And it shouldn't matter what the denominator of the fraction is or the numerator of the fraction is. We want to be able to know how to pair fractions up to make a whole. So if I said something like 5/8, we would want to say 3/8, because 5/8 and 3/8 make a whole. Now, to really have good fraction sense, we could make it even bigger than just two things. For example, I could say 3/8, and you could say, well, 2/8 and 3/8, because 3/8 and 2/8 and another 3/8 makes 8/8, which makes the whole. Or if I say 1/4, you could say another 1/4 and 2/4, because 1/4 and 1/4 and 2/4 makes 4/4, which is a whole. So basically, this part of fraction sense is just about, can you figure out what types of numbers add up to equal the denominator? And if someone has good number sense and can make a 5 or make a 6 or make a 10, then they can use that information to develop this kind of fraction sense. Because if the denominator is 7, then any combination of numbers that add up to 7 I could use. 4 and 3, 2 and 5, 1 and 6. I can even say 2, 2 and 3, because 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. So that means 2/7 plus 2/7 plus 3/7 is 7/7, which is a whole. That is the first part of developing good fraction sense. No matter what fraction I throw at you, you should be able to at least give me the partner fraction that makes the whole. Now, the next part of fraction sense that we should be able to do is visualize what this all looks like. So, for example, if I said 1/4, the first thing that we should be able to do is draw a picture of what 1/4 looks like. Now, that might just be a image of a hole with 1/4 shaded in, or it could be a number line that we've started to draw, and we've moved 1/4 of the way from 0 to 1. And we should see then that there are still 3/4 to go before we get to 1. So if we're at 1/4, we can make another hop, and another hop, and we end up at 4/4. Being able to draw a picture and visualize what's going on helps develop good fraction sense. So think about different ways that you can represent fractions. On a number line, you can draw rectangles. Some people like to draw circles. It might just be representing it even as an equation, to where I see 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 4/4. But if we're drawing equations, I would hope that we know what that picture looks like. All of those things together is what helps us develop good fraction sense. And this is your starting point. Again, if I give you a fraction, you should be able to give me a partner fraction that adds up to the whole, or a series of fractions that I can add to the original fraction to add up to the whole. But not just tell me what those fractions are. You should be able to visualize them. Draw me a picture, put it on a number line, somehow describe to me what that might look like. That is good fraction sense. I'm Jeff Dean, and I'm Math Dad.